Oh Yeah is brought to you by Fuedobots. If you're not familiar, Fuedobots is a hot sauce of the month club. They bring small batch and craft hot sauces that you've probably never heard of to your doorstep every 30 days, every 60 days, or every 90 days. It's your choice. They've got sauces from the Deep South, Mexico, and even the Caribbean available to purchase right now. Guys, they even sell a spicy honey. You can shop by spiciness level, pepper type, and they even have gluten-free and low-sodium options. Go to Fuedobots.com and use the code BROBIBLE10 for $10 off your first subscription order.
What's behind door number 2, Art?
Door number 2 is a list.
What list?
James Cameron's list for Aqua Girl, 5 of the hottest actresses on the planet.
What's up, Entourage fans? J.R. Hickey here, host of Oh Yeah, the Entourage podcast. We are recapping every episode of the acclaimed HBO dramedy Entourage every Monday morning, usually. This is the second to last week. We're doing Wednesday mornings. 2 weeks' time, we'll be back to our normal schedule. Game of Thrones is over, and we are chugging right along halfway through season 2. We had a big episode last week, The Sundance Kids with film critic Vince Mancini. He has a love-hate relationship with the show, but it was a great conversation, and I'm looking forward to having different interesting personalities on the show as we continue on. On that note, if there's anything that you want to hear, if there's anyone that you want to hear on the pod, if there's any new segments that you think would be fun and interesting, send them my way. My personal handle is @JRWillDoIt on Instagram and Twitter. The Entourage music playlist is live on Spotify. Go to the show notes of today's episode and subscribe. It's where we're putting all of our favorite songs from each episode. It is continuing to grow. I've heard it's the playlist of the summer. Nice, good, meaty episode this week with comedian and actor Mike Camerlengo. Hilarious dude. He makes hilarious videos. He was a member of MTV's Joking Off for 4 seasons. The guy's a pro, loves Entourage. Don't worry, there is no Entourage slander on today's episode. We have a big episode next week as well when the boys go to Comic-Con, so looking forward to that. Thank you guys for listening. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you next Wednesday. Our guest this week is a writer and comedian who is a series regular on MTV's Joking Off. He was a finalist for the 2018 True TV Comedic Breakout Competition, and his work has appeared all over the television and internet, from ESPN to MTV to Comedy Central to BroBible.com. His comedy pilot, 12 Beers, was an official selection in the 2018 New York Television Festival. Dialing in from New York City, Mike Camerlengo, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Look, excited to be here.
Mike, before we get started, we love to ask our guests their experience with Entourage. When did you pick up the show? What was your, week-to-week viewing of it like? Where did it enter your life?
So I was watching it like when it came out. I mean, I was in college, 2004 maybe, right? That's when it started?
2004, yep.
Yeah, so I remember we used to all get together and watch it. So I was watching it live, and then I feel like I came back around on it years later, just from being on HBO, just kind of running through the series again. And then, since that time, just hitting up an episode here or there. It's just one of those shows I kind of always go back to. I don't know whether it's a guilty pleasure or I just love checking back in with it. But, the boys are still killing it.
It's a time capsule to a nice time when there wasn't a ton of social media. Politics don't really dominate the show. It's just a couple bros having fun in Hollywood, running around, living a fanciful life.
I know. I couldn't imagine. I mean, I'm sure we'll get to one of these topics, but like how this would be different if they all had cell phones and were doing social media and all that. I mean, the amount of dick pics Vinny Chase would have sent people would have been troubling, probably.
Very, he probably wouldn't have been very good at it either.
Yeah, no way. He would have had E doing it for him. So
the whole show would just be E handing out NDAs to girls.
Yeah.
Like,
you
need to sign this.
No, Turtle would definitely do that. That's Turtle's job.
Well, great. We're talking about episode 8 of season 2 today, Oh, Mandy. It aired on Sunday, July 24th, 2005. One of those episodes that, and we'll get into this, that still kind of flies under the radar. Obviously, the name kind of brings people back to the Mandy Moore plotline, but in revisiting it, there's a lot of good stuff in this episode. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. But I think in So this should just be called the Johnny Drama episode.
Yep.
I mean, Johnny Drama he carries this episode.
He does. He truly does.
He really does. Like in throughout the series, he always is great, and he has like his moments here and there. But this is like he's front and center in this whole episode. He's got a whole kind of arc in this episode, and he's great in it. That in a lot of like the lines I wrote down, I was like, "This is a great moment. This is a great moment." It's mostly Johnny, which was funny. I mean, you always think of him as a great character, but he really does carry it.
100%. Honestly, this episode and the next episode, which we're doing next week, which is when the boys go to Comic-Con and Drama's of the front and center like star of Comic-Con. Like, so this is a peak for Kevin Dillon and Johnny Drama. I mean, he was nominated for an Emmy for this role. I think it was this season and the next season. So we're ramping up to like his peak comedic performance here, which is great to see. Yeah,
he's great in it.
So before we dive in, I'd like to take people back, a little time capsule. This aired on Sunday, July 24th, 2005. The next day, that same week, on Monday, July 25th, the second season of MTV's reality drama Laguna Beach, The Real Orange County, premiered. Laguna Beach was a series that gave viewers an insider's look at the lives, loves, friendships, and heartaches of 8 high school juniors and seniors living in the ritzy seaside town south of Los Angeles. This show was #1 overall in its time period. It reached over 65 million viewers.
That's nuts.
That is so nuts.
And the people on that show were probably getting like $800 an episode. You know what I mean? Like they were not. That's why. I mean, was that before or after the OC?
So this was right after the OC premiere. This was MTV capitalizing on the popularity of Fox's like original drama, The OC.
Which, I mean, I have a softness for these old shows. I love that show too, man. If you want to dive down that at another time, we will.
Yeah, in 2 years when I finish this episode, we'll do a rewatch of that. I have a soft spot because my wife is from Newport Beach, which is in Orange County.
Yeah.
And so I've frequented this area and these people's lives, and it's definitely another world down there.
Which they mention Josh Schwartz in this episode of Entourage, the creator of the OC.
Where are you running to?
Well, it's a day of beauty for me. This afternoon, I'm going in front of the cameras.
What are you doing, our agency yearbook photos?
Actually, I made a little list of my own. Faded Magazine's Top 40 Under 40. Sandwiched in between the OC's creator, Josh Schwartz, and Miramax's Mara Poster at number 9 is yours truly.
Great catch, Mike. We're already chugging right along.
My ears perk up when I hear the creator of the OC's name, you know?
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Whose
ears don't? So really quickly to synopsis this episode, Jessica Alba lets the boys stay at her Malibu estate while she's out of the country, much to Johnny Drama's chagrin. And now that Vince is officially slated to star in Aquaman, the next order of business is to choose his Aqua Girl for the film. Several A-list actresses are up for the role, with Mandy Moore, a former flame of Vince's, on the short list. Vince doesn't think casting his ex would be problematic, but after having dinner with her and learning that she's engaged to be married, he asks Eric to keep her out of the film. Johnny Drama endures a difficult audition and a bout of road rage, but ends up landing a great role. Mike, what was your favorite moment from this episode?
I mean, it had to be just a few things Drama did. I mean, when he gets, maybe it's just because of my life of running around auditioning for things, like when he gets into the audition room and he sees the guy on his phone who he previously flipped out on, right? That already happened.
Yep.
And he just gives that look and he just sighs to himself. Oh my God, I could feel the rage inside him. I thought it was so great.
Let's try and not have another incident like last year, huh, John?
Dodell, yeah. And the guy on his phone is Steve Levinson, the producer of Entourage. So that whole crew in that room.
Larry Charles is in there, too.
Larry Charles, correct. Sheila Jaffe. These are actual people that cast, write, and direct and produce the show. Yeah. So a nice touch.
And another one that came out on this that I really liked was when, after he's at the audition, when he's driving and the guy behind him is like in that bout of road rage, and he pulls up next to him. He's like, "Hey, dude, chill out." And Drama just like, I could just see he just like loses his shit and he's like, "Oh, dude!" Like it's like the biggest like guttural reaction where it's like you revert to like being a 10-year-old where all you can say is like, "Oh, fuck you, dude!" Like it just made me laugh so hard.
Do you really find it necessary to drive up my ass? Fuck you, dude. Dude, you believe this guy? Fucking locals. Fuck you, Tony.
I mean, his back and forth when they like pull over to the side of the road. Turtle's like,
Drama, come on! Why are we picking a fight with Point Break? Let's get out of here.
Why don't you do yourself a favor, tough guy? Get back in your car before someone gets hurt.
What, you on TV or something before?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, like 20 fucking years ago. it, man.
The guy spits on the hood of his car. Yeah. Oh my god.
He insulted your career, man. Don't do it.
Gotta do it. And then he books that role.
It's interesting because so that was my favorite moment. We're leading right into my favorite moment, was just that whole exchange. The first like inkling of Johnny Drama's trouble controlling his anger.
Yeah.
Everything about it, going ape shit on the townie's red PC Cruiser. He's got the 9-iron out of the trunk.
Fucking face tonight! What are you doing to my car? What the fuck are you doing to my car? Robbie, your phone's ringing! Pick it up! It's my car, dude! Hey, Adam! No, you can't come to the phone! It's your agent, you booked the gig!
I booked it!
You booked it, motherfucker! We'll call you back.
Yes! I booked it! Drop the dog! Step away from the car, now! Hey, you guys like Joe Montana?
It's perfect. And this type of situation happens to him like 3 more times over the course of the series.
Yeah, I mean, later on when they, not to give away future episodes, but...
Well, I would hope that people listening to this podcast have seen future episodes of Entourage.
Where he flips out when he's going for the, what's his name? The 5 Towns pilot. And he loses his shit. Eddie Burns, yeah. And he's like, I gotta get my shit together. I'm gonna go to counseling, whatever. And then he finds out he books it. And Turtle's like, you still gonna go to counseling? He's like, fuck that. I just booked the pilot. Yeah, his character is great. And he's such a good actor in this show.
Every week, we like to do a favorite Bros Being Bros moment. This podcast is sponsored by BroBible.com. You and myself are both content creators for BroBible.com, so I like to think of Bros Being Bros as just moments of real guy moments where you can just sense that, like, this is a real friendship, this could actually happen, but really, Bros Being Bros is kind of up for interpretation. So what did you take Bros Being Bros as, and what were your favorite moments from this episode?
So I had a couple of those. First is at the beginning after they get the big check and Drama tells everybody he's got a massage, and they're just like, no, you're not going to that. Like, we're going to Malibu.
Malibu? I booked a massage.
So cancel it. I'll have Turtle give you a rub down with some Bain de Soleil.
Ew.
What the hell's in Malibu? Hey, Marcel, cancel my 11 o'clock deep tissue, please. Thank you.
And it's just like such a thing that would happen. Like if you had one guy being like, oh, I got to do this thing, and everyone else is like, dude, we really got to, like, no, it can't happen. And he'd be like, all right, you're right, it can't. He's pissed, but he's going to go with them.
He's outnumbered. That's how it works with guys.
Right.
This may be borderline sexist, but I feel like a group of 4 girls would wait around for the one girl to be done with her massage.
And they would talk shit passive aggressively, be like, oh, you had to get it today, didn't you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Really? How bad is your back hurting? Really?
Yeah, you really need this? Another one was when they got the list of actresses' name, and they were just like going through the names and like saying why they'd be great, why they wouldn't be. I just felt like a thing that you would do. Like if you got a list, you would be with your friends, be like, here's this person, and someone would say a reason. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. Like Turtle's like, oh, she has a boyfriend. They're like, so what? Like I just thought that was like a thing that was pretty legit, like that a group of people would do.
What do you guys think of Cameron Diaz for Aquagirl?
Love her.
Fuck that, she got a boyfriend. Upside is you bang her, he gets pissed off. Downside is she's loyal. Who wants to make a movie with someone you have no shot at?
He's got a point.
Jennifer Garner.
Love her.
Boyfriend.
Kirsten Dunst.
She already fucked a superhero.
She's single, though.
Who else you got?
Mandy Moore.
You flinched, Drama.
Bullshit, I was reacting to Mandy Moore.
Yeah, and the list is a good list. It's Cameron Diaz.
I got a problem with
the
the list. If you want to.
Oh, all right. What's the issue?
I don't know if this is. Well, I love Mandy Moore. I love her, but in 2005, I don't think she would be on this list.
Oh, interesting. Well, I have something about that too, but let's hear it.
Okay.
Let's keep going.
Well, I'm just saying all the other actors are like people who have been in like really big movies. Like at that point, Mandy Moore was in. Hey, I Walk to Remember, great flick. But other than that, I mean, she had some stuff here and there. She was like coming off her singing career. Again, great actress. I love her. Mandy, if you're listening, big fan. But her name just kind of stood out as kind of an outlier. But I get it. I mean, they're working her into the show, so I don't know.
No, I the only one I would call kind of BS on is Jennifer Garner, because Jennifer Garner at that point had just been on Alias. She was never really a movie star, so.
Right.
Cameron Diaz, Kirsten Dunst, those are 2 A-list female actresses at the time in 2005. So maybe the list is 2 A-listers and 2 up-and-comers with Jennifer
Who was the
Garner.
other one? Did they have 5?
It was just those three and then Mandy Moore.
Now that you said that, it does make more sense with Jennifer Gardner because they're kind of like there's like levels to them now.
Yep, exactly.
That makes more sense. All right.
And I have a whole opinion on Mandy Moore that we'll get to when we talk about best celebrities. But my favorite Bros Being Bros moment was, and this is more like an overall kind of vibe / conversation, is Vince trying to convince his friends that he's over this girl. Yeah. And all of the guys not buying it. That is so fucked. It like resonated for me so much because I've been that guy. I've been around friends who are that guy who were like, wait, are you going back to your ex? And he's like, no, dude, I haven't thought about her. That was like 5 years ago. You know?
Bottom line is if we want, we can get her off the movie.
This has been like 5 years already. This is a stupid conversation. I haven't even thought about her till her name was mentioned this morning. You popped the trunk?
It's very clearly like them all kind of panicking because she's very clearly the one who got away. And I mean, their lives are tied to Vince. So if he goes off the rails, their lives go off the rails. So, and
that's why I guess it's like a tad frustrating as a viewer because you're like, it's clear and it's supposed to be clear that he's lying. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, I'm just like yelling at him, like, just say you want her off the movie. Like, just get her off the movie.
Yep.
And you know, what can you do? You got to listen to him. But it's like one of those things where you're yelling at the screen because you know it's not going to work out. And they foreshadow it.
If you don't want Vince's head to get fucked up, make sure Mandy Moore doesn't get this movie.
Seriously, E, that will drown Aquaman. What? What did he do to her? To her? That's what she did to him.
She crushed him, bro. Crushed him.
Oh, come on, I've never seen Vince hurt over a girl.
It got ugly. I mean, he was doing drive-bys to her house, late-night hang-ups.
He made a mixtape. Bullshit. Nah, I swear, you remember that? He let it off with Tiny Dancer.
Elton John?
Yeah, him and Mandy saw Almost Famous like 20 times.
Now I know you're fucking with me.
Mandy Moore is Aquaman's kryptonite, bro.
I've been that like heartbroken teen, and so have each and every one of my guy friends. And you watch someone spiral like that, and all you can kind of do is like brace yourself and hope they come out okay on the other end.
Right.
But this guy's got a fucking $100 million movie under his belt. That everyone's
yeah. Oh, I guess I had one more I wrote down when they're outside the supermarket and the drama, he's going to let Turtle get him because they're playing like that slap game.
Yep.
And right when he's like, all right, you can get me, E and Vince open the door at the same time just to look.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like everyone's been kind of paying attention all day. And then they're like, oh, it's happening now. And they just like casually open to look. I feel like that's a thing that's just like, yeah, your two idiot friends are doing this stupid ass game. And you're barely paying attention. But then when someone's going to get it, you're like, yeah, I'll watch you get your fucking knuckles bled.
All right. You owe me a flinch from before.
All right, fine. Hurry up, get it over with.
I only need one. Love that shit.
Just random physical violence on friends is so funny to guys.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of universal amongst most men. What was your least favorite moment from this episode?
I know we just talked about it, and I think it's a part of the overall arc of the season, but just the whole Vince storyline in this episode, it's kind of boring. It's a little boring in the sense that they keep hitting it, and you just kind of get it. You know what I mean? And so it's like when you're watching a necessary thing, like, I get it, they're moving the plot along, but it's not necessarily the most entertaining thing. Like, I would have rather watched drama find his way around Malibu for another 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think the Mandy Moore dinner kind of sums it up. Like,
right.
It's supposed to be awkward and it makes you uncomfortable to watch, but just everything about it, like the boys waiting in the car, him being so awkward, him trying to like sound smart in front of her, and like,
can you believe it's been 5 years?
I know, time is flying, huh?
And you don't think it's strange we've never spoken?
Well, we had an on-set romance. These things don't last.
Wow. Someone's gotten glib.
Well, I've glibbened with age. What can I say? And I know that's not a word.
I wasn't gonna correct you.
Really?
Yeah, okay, I was. But I realized that you were kidding.
They've got some chemistry, which is good. I don't think they have like a total lack of chemistry, but I think we're supposed to feel awkward in Vince's shoes, and it does a good job of that, which is why I think it's like my least favorite moment, is I just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Gosh, this episode had so many good lines. I don't even know where to start.
I wrote down a bunch, and then I gave up at some point because I tried to pause it and just write some down because I was like, oh, that's too good. I got to remember that. When when in the beginning when Ari's talking to Vince and E when he's giving him the check.
5 of the hottest actresses on the planet, one of which you will be stuck in a water tank with for 9 months. Even if you look like our skim milk colored friend E here, you still have a good shot of swimming in between her legs.
That was mine too.
Yeah, and the best part of that line is that E doesn't even flinch. He just like is used to it. He's like, yeah. Whatever. Like, I'm getting shit on again.
I mean, they just abuse each other all the time, which I love the E and Ari dynamic. It's always been great. Like it's a mutual ball busting, but a mutual respect, I think.
Right.
When they do a top 40 under 4 feet, boom, top of the list.
And then like a minute later when they hand Turtle the check and he goes,
Oh, shit. Are we going to go cash this?
like he's like ready to go to like Bank of America right then and just cash it. Not even deposit it, just cash it.
There's a line that Ari says later on when he and E are on the phone, and Ari basically tells E, like, listen, Mandy Moore has moved to the top of the list. It's a line I've mentioned a few times over the course of the show as just kind of perfectly encapsulating the nature of E and Vince's relationship. Ari goes,
Scuba, a sport normally reserved for the rich, but you get free lessons from a Navy SEAL because you happen to have been born next door to Vince.
What's up, Ari?
and that's perfect because you don't, in this relationship on the show, like, it's true. Like, you were just born next door to royalty, and now your life is completely different than anybody else's.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the nature of that relationship. And it gets brought up a few times by Ari early on, and I love that he calls it out.
And then, when he's talking to him, I don't know if it's the same conversation or one of the other calls. It's kind of the same thing. He's like telling E like he doesn't give a shit about him. He goes, normally I wouldn't care if you drowned, but I need to answer right away. And it's like, it's kind of funny. It shows their relationship, but also like the nature of this business is like, they don't really give a shit. Just like, tell me what he needs to know. You know what I mean?
Yep. If I can't talk to Vince, let me talk to Vince through you. That's the only reason you're important to me.
Yeah. When they show up to the Malibu house.
There's a party at 10 a.m. on Wednesday anyway.
I hope they have an omelet, chef.
This place looks empty.
Maybe people came by boat.
Just like, and it's just the way he just delivers it is so good.
And you know that Drama's been to parties with omelet chefs and now just expects omelet chefs at every party.
Yeah. Back in his Melrose Place days or whatever show he was in back in the old days. I love he's always mentioning random shows he was in. It's so good.
Do you have any more quotes? Because there's one that I want to spend some time on.
I got 2 more.
Do it.
So when Turtle says, when Drama mentions Joe Mantegna, and Turtle just goes,
Joe Montana's acting now?
And it's such a funny, it's like a line that if like, I don't know, 100 people read it, 95 of them would be like, that's a corny line. It doesn't really work. But the way that Jerry Ferrara says it is like so excited and like earnest, and he just fucking nails it. And it made me laugh so hard. And it was so good.
We talked about Drama being the funniest part of the show, but Jerry Ferrara's performance is a close second on this like rewatch that I'm doing 10 years after the fact. His timing is perfect, his inflection, everything about it. He plays the role perfectly.
He's also the most, I don't want to say normal, but like if you plucked like, four dudes from Queens and he's like, I don't know how old he is in the beginning, how old he's supposed to be, 25?
He's supposed to be really young, like 25, because he celebrates his 30th birthday in like 4 or 5 seasons when he's dating Jamie Lynn Sigler.
Right. So he feels like the most like off the cuff, most natural, and that's what makes a lot of his lines funny. And he delivers them awesome. Like he's a good actor. So
100%. Jerry, if you're listening, come on the pod this summer. So I wanted to call out one line that isn't one of my favorite quotes, but is worth exploring because I realized something in doing my research for this episode. So when E is grilling Vince about the Walk to Remember incident in the parking lot after they do their scuba lesson, he goes, did production get shut down? And Vince goes,
did they shut down production? Oh, yeah. They did shut down production. The crew ate bad clams.
Now, this bad clams callback is an homage to an incident that happened on the set of James Cameron's greatest movie to date, Titanic. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I thought that was just a clear, obvious lie.
So
I didn't know that was like a real thing, maybe.
I mean, it might be a lie coming out of Vincent Chase's mouth in the plot of the show, but I think this line is in the episode as an homage to on August 8th, 1996, when the cast and crew of Titanic were wrapping up shooting in Shearwater, Canada. They had a midnight meal of clam chowder, and it turned out that the clam chowder was spiked with PCP.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Shortly after they ate the meal, people began to feel woozy. Some people puked. Some people started laughing hysterically. Some were crying. James Cameron, who says that he was stabbed in the face with a pen by a crew member, said that people were moaning, crying, wailing, collapsing on tables and gurneys. The DP led a number of crew down the hall in a highly vocal Tonda line. I'm being serious. You can't make this stuff up. They were all hospitalized, 60 people. Fortunately, nobody had any long-term injuries or death.
Wow. Well, I never knew that. And that's clearly what they're referencing because, they're talking about Cameron and, they're very in tune with Hollywood, obviously. Yep. They have a million references. So I guess that's just for the insiders, which you are now, man.
Hey, man, I'm the Entourage insider. I did a lot of shit. I did a lot of flack from people for not catching every reference on the show. So God. I'm trying to step my game up, guys. Everyone who's listening, I'm doing a little bit of extra doodling, spending a little bit of extra time on the IMDb pages. Don't you worry. We haven't had a good musical episode in Entourage in a while, but this episode has such good songs in it.
Yeah. They're playing the game when they're in the car and Vince is on the date.
Dreams.
Yeah, I thought that was great. I thought that was like kind of set up that they're just like, I don't know. It felt like good for them to be chilling to that in the car while the most awkward fucking date of all time is going inside.
And that album had just been released at the time. I remember because I was in high school and I listened to that album.
Yeah. Another one, which was, maybe we could talk about things that wouldn't be happening in 2019, is the Limp Bizkit.
Yes.
When drama, right? That's Limp Bizkit, right? When drama's
great stuff.
Yeah, just crushing the car. It goes well with the scene, but it's just funny because even at the time, it was like Limp Bizkit was probably not in anymore, right? When did that song come out? Like early 2000s?
No, I think it was like
late
99.
90s. Yeah.
And I also like that they included like some Clash in the Eagles as the final song. After Vince gets in the car after his date with Mandy, he goes,
"She was right. It's awkward. Let's get her off the movie."
I like that. Yeah.
For everyone who's listening, just a quick reminder, we're adding all the songs that Mike and I just discussed to a playlist. It's in the show notes of today's episode. It's called the Oh Yeah music playlist. It's on Spotify, so go follow that now and listen. Hey guys, I wanted to take a quick break to talk to you again about Fuegobox. Fuegobox is a hot sauce of the month club. They've tested thousands of small batch and craft hot sauces to bring you the tastiest sauces on planet Earth. From hundreds of hot sauces, they find the best of the best and ship them right to your front door. If you go through hot sauce as much as I do, a subscription box is the perfect solution. You can have new varieties shipped to you every month or even every quarter. Your choice, and you can cancel at any time. Try it for yourself at fuegobox.com and use the code BROBIBLE10 for $10 off your first subscription order. That's fuegobox.com, the code BROBIBLE10 for $10 off your first subscription order. Okay, let's talk about celebrity cameos. There's really only two in this episode, one quite bigger than the other. So who do you want to talk about first, Mandy Moore or Dr. Joyce Brothers?
Let's save Mandy Moore.
Let's save her? Okay, so let's talk about Dr. Joyce Brothers.
Wait, who is Dr. Joyce Brothers? Am I supposed to know who that is?
It's the old woman in the supermarket.
Oh, yes.
I didn't know who she was either. I just assumed she was like some sort of columnist, sex therapist type person that was popular in the 90s, and that's exactly what she is. She was an American psychologist, television personality, and columnist. She wrote a daily newspaper advice column from 1960 to 2013. She wrote a daily advice column for 55 fucking years.
That's nuts. She's like Dr. Ruth, right? Wasn't that what Dr. Ruth was all about?
I think she's like an early iteration of Dr. Ruth.
You could tell when Drama's talking to her that she's like a real person.
Yeah, totally. It just was a little random and I think confusing because I guarantee you even then I didn't know who she was.
Right. You just got the feeling like, oh, she's probably somebody.
Dr. Brothers?
Yes.
Hi, I'm a big fan.
Oh, thank you.
This is kind of embarrassing, but sometimes I wake up in the morning fully tempted. Any advice?
Well, at your age, consider yourself lucky.
My age? How fucking old do you think I am?
Yeah, and then I was looking for I didn't see anybody else. I guess you said there's not, right, other than Mandy Moore.
Yeah, so just these two, a little light on the cameos, but Mandy Moore, she's kind of like she's a combination of like new character to the show and celebrity cameo. Mandy Moore was kind of perfect for this. Like, people don't like the Mandy Moore episodes because of what it does to Vince and does to the dynamic of the crew, but in terms of actresses for this role, it kind of made sense. First off, she looks really fucking good.
Yeah,
when you
she's
see
great.
her. But like she had released an album like a couple of years before this in 2000. It went platinum. She had a song that was on the top 100 charts. She had just gotten done doing The Princess Diaries in 2001, A Walk to Remember in 2002, and Saved in 2004.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Great movie.
Yeah.
So like this is legitimately, as her like star is rising, is when they caught her for this cameo in Entourage and this kind of role as Aqua Girl or whatever she may be.
Yeah.
So it made sense why Cameron would have cast her, why she would have been in the show, and why she would have been dating Vince. So for all those reasons, I like her.
And people, yeah, and I agree with what you're saying. Like people don't like those episodes because what it does to Vince. But it's like it's not her fault. It's like when your friend's dating a girl and then he turns into a fucking loser who never goes out, and you're like, oh, I hate that girl. It's like, well, your friend's being a fucking loser. He can leave the house. Like Vince turns into a fucking nugget or whatever he is. Like I don't know what his problem is.
I mean, I'm not looking forward to revisiting his behavior in like the last 2 episodes of the season when he's heartbroken and like laying on the floor. I mean, I think we've all been there. Mike, have you been there?
Yeah, for sure. And I guess it's just a little harder because he's like, oh, I'm going to walk away from this movie. Spoiler alert. I'm going to walk away from this movie. And you're like, dude, just suck it up. Like, suck it up.
Suck it up for the tens of millions of dollars.
Part of the show that makes me mad, and I know I shouldn't because it's just like a fun show, is like anytime he turns down a job, like I'm not like yelling at the screen. I'm like, dude, do it. Do it.
Yeah.
It's just, it's hard to separate because, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to a fucking non-union Lowe's commercial that pays $800. So you know what I mean? It's just, I gotta separate. That's a me thing. I need therapy. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. But like, and that's understandable. And I would understand from a working actor like yourself, why seeing him just like brush off $1 million offers to do like a $30,000 indie back in Queens with his buddies, like is frustrating.
Yeah, it's like I find myself siding with Ari, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be siding with Ari the whole time.
But there's an interesting dynamic in season 1 where Ari says to him a couple times, like, listen, man, if you're gonna kneecap yourself like this, I'm out. Like, find a new agent. He kind of draws the line in the sand a few times in season 1.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't change until Vince is Aquaman and is the biggest movie star in the world, which, spoiler alert, is going to happen.
Right. Yeah. And then look, I don't care if you turn down work here and there. But I was just like, yo, you want this house? It's your second movie or third movie. Like, do the $4 million movie. But, that's just me turning into a goddamn old man. I don't know what's wrong with me,
They're trying to show that he has integrity, a vision, and he wants to do like what he's passionate about. But at some point or another, I think in every actor and entertainer, creative's lives, you take the paycheck because it's a lot of fucking money.
And he's supporting 3 guys. Yeah. He's like the breadwinner there.
Yeah, totally. Think of your friends, Vince.
I know.
Every week I try to do a Faces in the Crowd award for people who may just pop up who you're like, where's he from? Or where's that actress from? I recognize her. There's actually 2 in this episode. So the scuba instructor, the Navy SEAL, the actor's name is Dale Dye.
Now, E, you ought not to sweat this small stuff. I have revived people on 7 continents and never lost... Actually, I did lose one, but that was in Antarctica, and I blame it on the cold. Now get your gear, let's go.
That actor, I keep saying actor, but he's not an actor. He is a Marine who served in Vietnam in 1965 and 1967 through 1970. He survived 31 major combat operations. He received a Bronze Star for valor and 3 Purple Heart medals for wounds suffered in combats. He spent 13 years as an enlisted Marine, and he rose to the rank of Master Sergeant. He's served on film and television sets as a performer trainer for research planning, staging, and on-set advisory for military scenes on Platoon, Saving Private Ryan, Band of Brothers, The Pacific, and all the Medal of Honor video games. That dude's a fucking badass.
And now that you say that, like, he's like the woman who's like, oh, that seems like that person. Like, he seems like, yeah, he's that guy who just like, and you're like, hey, man, want to act? He's like, yeah, I'll do whatever. Like, I'll just be myself. And he's great.
Yeah, do I have to do anything other than be like a hard-ass military dude?
Yeah. They're like, no, just yell at these pretty boys.
But that line he delivers is funny.
Yeah. Wow, that's a good pull.
The other Faces in the Crowd is while Ari's getting his spray tan and his hair styled for his 40 under 40 photo shoot, the hair stylist is Jose Abair. I'm sure I'm butchering that name. He is a famous celebrity hairstylist. He created the most influential looks of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. his first celebrity clients were Farrah Fawcett, Cher, and Elizabeth Taylor. So kind of cool. Like, no one would know that, but you kind of get the vibe with his like cowboy hat and his long hair that he
long
may be
hair guy.
somebody.
Yeah. Man, what great hair, dude. That guy had great hair. I mean, if you got hair like that, other people are going to be like, yeah, make mine like, you know what I mean? Make mine shine like yours, dude.
Outfits haven't aged well. This aired in 2005. It's 2019. Did any outfits jump out at you as being particularly cringeworthy?
I mean, Drama's like whole get up in the first half. He's like wearing, like gym pants or whatever, which are fine, I guess. But then he has like this red sleeveless Nike like breathable shirt. And it's just like, I don't know when, I guess that was in at some point. It's just so funny. Like that would never be worn today. I mean, I can get away with the pants, but and then my other question is, I mean, Turtles has got like 15 layers on. I mean,
sure.
So this episode, I'm kind of looking at everybody like, what's the temperature supposed to be? Because
that's a good
everybody
question.
seems like they got a lot of layers on this episode.
Well, unbeknownst to people who don't spend a lot of time in California, even though you're in Malibu at the beach, you're still like on a cliff and the Pacific Ocean is there. So like it's warm in Malibu, but it's not warm all the time. Like that Pacific breeze picks up and it plunges the temperature 20, 30 degrees. I don't know. I don't know if I sound like a douchebag right now, but like that's really like the fact of the matter. I got married in Big Sur just north of there, and like it was nice out and sunny and it was on the ocean, but it was still like 68, 75 degrees at the most. So
I mean, it makes sense. And I guess you just think like, oh, Southern California, it's going to be super hot. It just struck me as funny because Turtle legit had on like 10 layers. He was wearing like his Knicks stuff that he looked like he was getting on the E train or something when in like the middle of the winter. And then I looked around and everyone else kind of had layers on too. It was probably just cold when they were shooting. It was probably like 55 degrees or something.
100%. And I know for a fact they shoot most of these scenes like at the hotel at the beginning of the episode. They shoot those really early in the morning before these places open. So most Entourage scenes you see in restaurants and nightclubs, they're actually being shot at like 6, 7, 8 a.m. So like it's probably cold. The actors are probably exhausted and, they just want to be warm. So good catch, though. Any references like that seemed really outdated to you? There were quite a few to me, to be honest. I liked how they keep referencing the Walk to Remember incident. Yeah. Which, watching that now, people are like, what the fuck is Walk to Remember? It was a big movie back then. It was one of these teen...
Date night, man. That's a date movie when you're in high school.
Oh, yeah. That's a invite a girl into your mom's basement movie.
Yeah. It gets teary though. There's some sad shit happening there.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to she gets leukemia and they like get married. I'm sorry, I'm spoiling this movie, but they get like married at the end and they're like 16 years old or something.
And she fucking dies.
Yeah, it's like the first Nicholas Sparks novel that became the first of many Nicholas Sparks novels to become movies.
It's a weird movie too. Like she dies, but it's sad. But you're like, oh, that's so nice. And then they have the funeral. You're like, no, bitch, a 17-year-old just died. Like this is sad. But Mandy Moore has some great songs in it. And again, Mandy, I love you. Didn't mean to say anything bad about you. You're a great actress. But yeah, dude, that whole soundtrack, like that was like a big thing for a certain group of people, which I guess are teenagers. When Ari, because sometimes I'm like, is that a person when they're threatening to kick him out because he's too old? He mentions Patrick Weitzel, and I looked him up, and I guess he's a Hollywood agent.
Okay.
So Patrick, if you're listening, I have a script that I want you to read. I can send it over to you right now. But this show must be littered with names like that where you don't know who they are, but because they love all the inside shit like that.
And you know what? I do deep dive into every name that's referenced on the show, but if I were to spend this podcast just like updating everyone with who everyone is, like at one point, Shauna's like, "Why don't you get Lorenzo Larama or whoever on the as your date? Lorenzo Lamas as your date."
Lorenzo Lamas, yes.
Like soap star from the '90s. Like had a reality TV show. He's most known for having like 6 wives like at different times. Like that's not really worth updating all the listeners to unless they really want to know. Even
if you do find like the one I said, like I'm like, oh, that sounds like somebody. I looked it up. I'm like, oh, that's an agent. I'm like, okay, good story, Mike. Like who gives a shit? Like that. It's just like it's probably something for them in the room that they think is funny.
Yeah,
that's 100%. Like an inside joke, as Michael Scott would say. I'd love to be involved in one of those someday. You know what I mean? Like if you don't know it, it doesn't do anything for you.
How would this episode be different if it aired today or took place in 2019?
Well, they say Vince made a mixtape for Mandy. Mixtapes, it'd be like a Spotify playlist maybe. Yep. Or I don't know. Do people do that these days? Probably, right? That's an easy thing to do.
Yeah. Like a shared, you know what I liked is the shared playlist. Hey, we'll both add our favorite songs to this, and then we'll listen to it. That's a real young thing to do today, I guess. Yeah. I'm 31.
What do the young kids do?
I'll call up one of my brothers.
How do I say that in a non-creepy way? What do the young kids do? Another thing is, I don't know if this is, they're supposed to be young, but when their shopping cart is hilarious when they're going in the cart. They have a huge handle at Captain Morgan's, which I used to chug in college and when I was younger. But I wonder if they were 26, 27 now, that would be something a little different. I feel like.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like current day, 2019, they're not like throwing Captain Morgan's in the cool kids cart. It'd be some like cool vodka or some bullshit.
I just did this down in Palm Desert. I went to Joshua Tree this past weekend. Check out the video I put up on
I saw that. That was great.
Thanks. But we went like grocery shopping before, and as I spending the weekend in the desert, and we were like, ooh, it's hot out. We should just get a nice clear tequila with some soda water. We don't need all those extra calories, all that extra sugar in our stomach. It was like a very 30-year-old thing to do.
That's what I do now, and it's so fucking dangerous because you're just like chugging that because you're like, oh, I'm just hydrating myself. And then an hour later, you're just, pissing in a corner somewhere. You're like, this is not good.
It's 1:30 in the afternoon.
And it's 1:30 in the afternoon, yeah. It just gives you such false confidence, those vodka sodas.
It truly does.
God damn it, I want one right now. It sounds so good, though.
Well, you were having a drink earlier when we were talking.
I was, yeah. I'm having a little whiskey right now.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah.
I really want to have an episode of this where I'm just blasted with someone else. Maybe for one of the marijuana-heavy episodes, we'll do a high episode. Man, I'll lose listeners. Man, people will turn it off so quickly.
And then I think I don't know if there anything that you think that wouldn't like hang in 2019.
Well, when Turtle and Drama are sitting in traffic on the PCH, and Turtle's like hiding his joint from the cops.
No, I wrote that down too. I forgot to say that. Yeah, that definitely.
Marijuana is completely decriminalized. The cops would just be like, "Hey, be careful." That's what they would do if they pulled him over.
And Turtle's the kind of guy who would like flaunt it. He'd be like, "What are you gonna do?"
Yeah. And I also think like them rushing to this audition, Turtle's like, I'm driving like a champ right now. I mean, they would have used Google Maps, gotten off the PCH and taken side streets. Yeah. They wouldn't have just sat there in traffic. However, it is hard to get off the PCH. There aren't a lot of exits.
Right.
All right. We've talked about him enough. What was your favorite Johnny Drama moment from this episode? I'll start.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when Rufus is over at the house installing the home theater system.
Yo, Rufus, thanks for doing this so quick.
Yeah, it was nothing. I just repoed all the shit out of Don Johnson's house anyway. Yeah, motherfucker tried to pay me with signed Nash Bridges DVDs.
Season 3, episode 7, me and Cheech. Enjoy.
It's just what you mentioned before, Mike, with just those random references to his like very erratic history in Hollywood.
Yeah. It's great. And I love it because they mention like real shows, and then as a viewer, because he's obviously an actor, and you're like, wait, was he really on that, or is just a character on that? I feel like so many of those happen. Like when he talks about being on Full House and shit, I'm like, he wasn't Stamos's nephew or something?
Tough guy nephew, yeah.
Tough guy. I'll pick another quote. It just kind of summed up his whole thing. Is when they're in. So before Vince goes into the date, he's like asking them about like news things he should talk about to sound smart. And Vince Drama says something about like,
just tell her you're devastated by what's going on in Africa. It says you're up on current events and you're sensitive.
So then when they cut back, when Vince is already in there, they cut back to Drama, and he's this look on his face like he's been thinking, and he goes,
damn, I should have told him about that busload of nuns that fell off that cliff last month.
Like he's just like he can't let it go, and it's just I think that just encapsulates like the whole episode with him. He's just so good in it, and it's just a great line.
It's a nice little point. As soon as Vince left the car, he sat there and like racked his brain for like other ideas that he could have given Vince. Yeah. Or before he leaves for the date, and Vince comes out and asks the guys what they think of his shirt. A really weird moment.
Vince, that shirt dulls the sparkle in your eyes. If I was you, I would go with blue façonnable. It says, hello, I'm here, and I'm doing fine without you.
Nobody even acknowledges that, too. It's just like so funny. And then Rufus is like, personally, I don't like it. He just like comes out of nowhere with that. It's like, dude, you're in this guy's house. It's so funny.
Dude, this is a movie star who, you're just gonna diss him in front of his boys, like.
Although they're kind of friends, though. I guess it's the second time we're seeing him, right? Or third, like we've seen him before.
Yeah, it's the second time, and then we see him 2 more times when he suddenly becomes an auto detailer in season 3 and 4.
And he's that girl's dad.
Yeah.
I feel like they casually mention that. I don't know if they do actually. I feel like there is a line where he's like, "Yeah, I'm doing this shit now," but maybe not.
Maybe I never caught it, so it might be something I could go back and find, but I'm not gonna.
It honestly doesn't matter.
I'll just wait for someone to DM me on Instagram to tell me that I got it wrong.
No, dude.
Okay, so every week someone wins the episode. Someone besides Vince wins the episode. Who would you say that person was this week?
I would say that Johnny Drama won the episode.
I agree with you.
And I would say, even if Vince was included, I think he would not be in the mix. Like, he lost the episode. Like, Vince has a bad episode.
Big L for Vince.
Big L for Vince. Like, he's, like, puttering around. He's lying to his best friends. And then at the end, he has to face his old love, who he thinks is single. And then she just throws a fucking rock in his face. And he is, like, devastated. So he took the L. Drama had a great episode. Turtle, a close second. He had some choice lines in there.
Yeah, I think overall Drama, like landing the MOW, like landing the audition even after he had to rush there in all of his frustration. I think that's what puts him out on top, as well as all of his hilarious lines. Like, he's the winner. As is most weeks, Johnny Drama wins this episode. Was this an A-list episode, a B-list episode, or a D-list episode?
I'll say a B. I think it's fine. I think there were just so many better episodes, more well-rounded episodes. Like a B. I don't know if we do minuses. I give it like a B minus. Like it's fine to me. Like Ari's little storyline is not good, and Vince and Eric's thing is fine. I get why they have to do it, but it's just not that entertaining. The whole they're on them for a long time. The turtle and drama stuff is good. The stuff where all the groups together is good. So it's good. It's enjoyable, but it's just like middle of the road for me.
I agree. I would say B minus. I think it also is a timing thing. It comes on the heels of the Sundance Kids, which is an A+ Entourage episode, and it's a week before the episode where they go to Comic-Con, which is also another like kind of all-time classic Entourage. So I think it just gets lost in between those two.
That girl, the actress from Weird Science. You ever see that TV show?
Yep, I remember Weird Science.
Yeah, she's that other actress, right? The woman that Johnny Drama like makes out with.
She's the Viking Quest chick who
Vanessa something.
Angel, Vanessa the Angel or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, she got the spinoff that went for 6 seasons.
Yeah, man, I spent a lot of Saturday nights with her. Just on TNT or whatever that was. It TNT? Maybe, I don't know.
Just the two of you.
Just the two of us.
Mike, we're coming to an end here. I like to end every episode by asking my guests, who in your life's entourage are you closest to?
Oh man, that's a tough question. Like now or ever? I mean, I think that unfortunately, I feel like I have a lot of like E characteristics. Where being like, yeah, come on, like let's do this, like come on, like let's like. He's just like kind of a Debbie Downer in the show, and I don't think I'm a Debbie Downer, but I think like I'm one that probably worries more. Yep. Like if my group of friends was like, yo, let's go here. I'm like, all right, what time are we getting there? Like, what's the thing? What's the escape plan? Like, what's going on? And maybe that's why I'm always yelling at E on camera. Because I'm just really yelling at myself.
Yep.
I'm like, dude, loosen the fuck up.
I mean, you're an actor yourself. I want an actor to come on here and be like, oh, I'm Vince. I just want someone to have the self-awareness to be like, yep, all my friends revolve around me. This is like the 3rd or 4th person in a row who said they're E. If I have another person come on and say that they're E, I might have to kill this category because I think we all see a little bit of ourselves in E. A little neurotic, a little anxious.
Yeah. I think no one's going to say that, well, you might get a Vince. For someone to say they're Vince, that then they're saying like they're just like super laid back and nothing really bothers them, in my opinion. And then they're kind of like the guy of the group, which someone may say that. Like no one's going to admit that they're Turtle, even though I'm sure a bunch of people, are Turtles. And then Drama's kind of in his own category. Man, maybe I think anybody who tries to act on any level has a bit of drama in them, which is like fucking delusional. Like showing up to some audition being like, hey, I'm the best guy to fucking hold this soap like this. It's like, dude, what are you, a moron? And yes, again, I'm yelling at myself.
Well, Mike, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's nice to talk to a fan who's like very clearly super familiar with the show, has rewatched it recently and like is on point with their references. would love to spend a little bit of time talking about your new pilot, maybe any work that you have out there that people can check out. Where can the listeners of Oh Yeah follow you?
Yeah, so Instagram, Mike Camerlengo, last name Camerlengo. And then on Twitter, it's M Camerlengo. So I'll put up I put up all my videos, stuff I've been working on. I do like a video review series, which you might have seen on Bro Bible. It's where I like recap a movie in 60 seconds like a fucking moron. And I just let that old school Boston accent rip. And it's pretty entertaining. And then I got other stuff. I just had a pilot in the New York TV Festival, and I'm trying to pitch that around right now. It's called
If any Hollywood producers are listening.
Guys, listen up. I mean, I've had some good pitch meetings, but I need someone to join me and push this thing through.
Yeah, let's do it.
So you can find that on my website, MikeCamerlengo.com. It's called 12 Beers, and it's like a romantic comedy, but it's more on the comedic side about a couple trying to decide if they're going to break up or not by getting very drunk.
Awesome. Well, a link to that will be in the show notes of today's episode, so just go in your show notes, click on that. Give Mike to follow. He's fucking hilarious. His videos are A+ funny. I highly recommend it. And Mike, we're definitely going to have you back, hopefully sometime when I'm in New York in the soon future.
Yeah, dude. This is great. Thanks for having me. And I've enjoyed listening to it. I'll keep on listening. And leave a comment, you fucking freaks. Get this podcast going up.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thanks.